Crosshatching, you could really go crazy with it and doodle for your form. So I'm going to start off with some basic shapes. We do a square, circle, we'll do a cylinder with like 2 ellipses stuck together. And this will be like a little practice page, and then that's on a cylinder. You know, we visualize the inside a little, sketch lightly. It's on top of a sphere. And then the cylinder is going through again on top of a triangle. Put a little 3D triangle, like a tent. And then maybe we'll pretend it has wheels. You know, I just get a little crazy with the doodles like I did on the truck. I get 2 ellipses for the cylinders for the wheels. I'll redraw these on this side, and then we'll do some ink. I'll knock back this one a little. This is the one I'm going to be inking. So we'll just use a fine tip marker. This little micron pen does the job. And I'll outline my box. And when I talk about the cross-hatching style, I want to give a little bit of like a bevel edge on this side, and I like going with, you know, almost a 45-degree angle. And that gives it a little bit of an edge, and that you could, let's say you want the top part to be a little shadowed too, and then here's where the cross-hatching stuff comes in. And the farther apart you make the lines, you know, it creates a bit of a tone, like it's darker up here and then lighter down here. And let's draw a circle. Now in this one, I'm gonna have the light come from this direction. So this time you want to follow the form of the ball. And then you can even consider the cross-hatching style. And add a few more lines closer together on the bottom to make it a little darker on the bottom. Then you have a little bit of shadow, and then let's say you want to have like a highlight right in the middle, so you can draw some lines. Let's sketch a circle here lightly in pencil. Be like radial lines. And a little darker on the top just by adding a few more little scratch lines. Let that dry for a minute. Sometimes I hit it with the kneaded eraser too soon and I'll get some smudges. So I will let that dry. We'll do our cylinder at the top. And then slightly curved to get a little form here. And then my lines could be farther apart and closer together on this side with a little bit of form. It's almost like a little shine effect. Okay, let's knock back the pencil off of this one. And now with the ink, you can leave some white areas with your cross-hatching style. And now let's say you wanted to have a bit of a shadow, and the light's also coming from this way. You kind of imagine a straight line coming from the edges of your, here I'm going to indicate a light. There's our light direction. So I just catch the two corners and consider this as my ground plane, and this is slightly curved here. And then connect those two corners. And now here's my shadow. And I'll just draw, parallel lines mostly. And get it dark under here with the cross hatching. And make that curved on the top. And you could just keep adding more, go in other directions. You can go diagonally to just get darker and darker and just hatch it in there. I don't know why they call it hatching. That's just what we've always called it. And then I'll take my eraser and knock back the pencil from the rough. I got these watercolor pencils. There's a couple different colors. My color set is a little bit random. A little range of browns and blue. These Derwent watercolor pencils. What's cool about these, we'll start with a box. Now I'm gonna use it dry and add a little bit of color to the edge of my box. and maybe a little bit up here. And then I get my Waterbrush pen that has a bit of water inside the barrel, and you squeeze it. And it wets down the, oh, there comes the water. And it wets down that pencil, which is basically watercolor stick, and now you can brush in some effects. And we can even, you know, if I wanted to do my little sky kind of idea, I'll use the side of the pencil and brush that in with the side of my pencil, do a little like cloud design. And then get the wet tip of the brush, get some water flowing. This sketchbook paper is not really watercolor paper, but it's good for practice to kind of get some ideas. Yeah, it picks up the paint a little bit. Now on the ball, I'll do the same thing. I'll use this red one. I'll do a red ball. I'll put a lot of material down on the bottom and on the rim, and then we'll wash it in. Now this, sometimes if you use an ink pen that is not waterproof, I think this Pentel is not waterproof. So let's draw a circle with this one with the Pentel, and put a little bit of red. And yeah, the Pentel is not waterproof. But you can get some cool effects. You might have seen me do this in the Stick Figures of Style, where you do an outline with the water soluble water soluble pen, and then you could get some fun effects with it. Yeah, what other color do I have here? More of a light blue and the green. Well, let's do like rainbow. Here's a little bit of a yellow one and a red and the blue. Yellow, green. Okay. I'll get my brush pen, give it a squeeze, and blend the colors. And you get a little watercolor effect, which is pretty fun. And then if I want to get more black in here, I'll go ahead and use this little Pentel that's washable. Put some material in there and move it around and blend it together and get a good hard shadow over my cross-hatching. And since I picked up some of that black here, I'll put a little more shadow on the edges. So I like using that pen too. All right, let's do the same thing and we'll make a character out of this guy. Let's cover this up. Yeah, let's make a little robot face. A couple circles for the eyes. He's a little bit, maybe a little bit sleepy. A little cross-hatching for the a little bit sleepy, but enjoying what's going on here. You just doodle your box. This is where we get to have a little fun doodling. Make some connections. Maybe add a little detail like a little bit of a collar here. And do a little cross-hatching. And get a little extra weight under there. And a little bit of weight inside right there. Now we're going to connect the triangle, kind of center it. Sometimes I don't want to go perfectly straight. I'll put a little bit of a curve to it. And this has also got some shadow. And the ball will have similar light effect. And we'll do the same kind of style that's up on the box. And now the little axles can just be like a little T, upside down T, connected in here. And then draw the wheel. It's just an ellipse, almost like a sideways football. And then I match that curve more or less. You get the inside of the wheel. And I'll use my, the kind of cartoon truck wheels we did. Make little spokes. Put a little weight under here. And this is round, so we want to get some curvy shapes for the roundness. And then on the tire, we'll go up here and down here, but I'll leave a highlight in the middle, and then maybe a little darker in the bottom, and a little darker on the top. Kind of match that style up there, and then a little darker down here, a little darker right here. And I'd actually like to maybe give this a little more depth, and maybe put some thickness here. And now we could get some more style, put like a a little border around the middle. And then you can just kind of mess around with some doodling. Maybe these are like little notches or something. And little portals or buttons. Robots gotta have buttons, I guess. And maybe a little dial of some kind. Like some kind of little gauge. A couple other dials. And we just doodle it. Little bolts that hold it together. This can be the same thing. Yeah, like little rivets. But once you get going, sometimes you're like, oh no, now I gotta do the rest. And even this can have a little bit of form. So you can indicate some form here for some of the machinery. And add a little more weight. So that's kind of an idea. And then if we wanted to work in the shadow in the kind of the same direction, at least for the tires. Yeah, this will get a little bit busy, but that's the shadow part, and then catch the bottom of the triangle here. You can see where the axle kind of comes up, and then rough shape, and lucky for me it goes off the page. I don't have to do the rest, but just kind of give you an idea. And I'm going to use my Waterbrush, my water soluble pen, to kind of get a quick rendition of the shadows. And this is the way we used to do it at Disney when we did shadow effects. We just kind of get a pretty good form of where the light is coming from, and then you visualize the shapes on the ground. And there we go. So a little cross-hatching, and a little ink and basic shapes lesson. Fill up your sketchbook. Keep that pencil moving, and paintbrush.